What is perfect anyways? Do you want to be perfect? I do. Do you want others to be perfect? Oh, yes, I want others to be perfect. What is perfect anyway? I'm going to talk today about what perfect is and what it is not. The first thing perfect is extreme. Perfect is black or white. It is this or that. It is all or none. Perfect is extreme. And when things are extreme, we limit anything outside of that. When we say things like, oh, he always does this, or she never does that, that limits your thinking. Perfection is extreme. Perfection is also difficult. Now, if you went to try to play piano, learn the piano, the first day you would sit down at the piano, you wouldn't get it right. It would be imperfect. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to be perfect the first day. The second day, same thing. You'd be making mistakes. It would be difficult to be perfect. And even concert pianists will play a whole piece and they will know that there are places that they didn't get it quite right. Perfect is difficult. Perfect, in fact, is silly. Now, I describe silly as a clown with a big red nose and big shoes and curly hair getting out of a little red car. That's silly. That's something that we'd laugh at. Now, it's just as silly to say people should drive perfectly. They should drive exactly the speed limit and always signal their turns and never eat while they're driving. Well, that's silly. That's laughable to think that anyone should be perfect or that I could be perfect. Perfect is a sign. This is a good one. Perfect is a sign. When you see someone trying to act perfectly, it's really the person just trying to get your acceptance so they feel your love and acceptance. Now, I would do that. I've done that because I don't want to be rejected. But what really the problem is I'm rejecting myself. I don't accept my imperfect self. I don't accept that I make mistakes and I stumble on my words and I don't have the best intentions always. So when I don't accept perfect in myself, I will just work to be perfect so you think that I'm perfect and I get acceptance from you. So perfectionism, if you see it in yourself, it's a sign. The next thing perfect is not, we're going to talk about what's not. Perfect isn't definable. Now, I might consider my blue couch perfect. But someone else might say, ooh, you should have a brown couch, not a blue couch. So the idea is that we can't define it because each person has their own definition of perfect. Perfect is just a preference. It's an opinion. It's not set in stone. And when I accept that I have one version of what I like and one opinion, and you have another, and that's okay because there's no one definition of perfect, then I can more easily accept you and accept your differences. So perfect isn't definable. I would argue perfect isn't even desirable. Let's say I go out to dinner with a couple and I deem the evening as perfect. Oh, that was a perfect evening. And then the next night I go out with someone else who's having a bad day or isn't as entertaining or I'm tired. Now I have to hold that up against the evening I had the night before that I deemed perfect. So when we desire perfection and then we deem things perfect, we are always up against that definition. And it makes everything else bad or poor. And I just want to say, I have used the word perfect a lot, and I'm realizing how that is limiting my thinking and how much difficulty that brings about, because I'm thinking, oh, there is one thing that's perfect, and now this isn't perfect. So just accept what is. It's called reality. That's what it is. It's not perfect. It's reality. And perfect is not a thing. Perfect is a concept, but it's nothing that we can hold on to or define or even aspire to. Why conclude that something's perfect? It's not a thing. The only thing that's perfect is accepting imperfection. In my workbook, So Now What? A guided workbook to get unstuck, I go after the topic of perfection in here, and I ask 3 questions. What are you expecting to be perfect? And then ask yourself why. The second question is, how is trying to be perfect keeping you stuck? And the third question is, what new expectations or what new perspective can you have that allows you to be free? Getting after those questions will help you get away from this trying to fit yourself into the perfect box and always falling short. I hope this helps, and I hope you continue to ask yourself, so now what? Be well.